Right now at noon, the Joplin City Council discusses the city's Memorial Hall during a meeting.
And we've got some clouds out there. They will continue to increase as we head through the afternoon ahead of our rain chances Wednesday. And look at that forecast, it's coming up.
Plus, the Salvation Army of Jasper and Newton County prepares to set the table for a Thanksgiving Day meal.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The city of Pittsburgh holds their 2024 State of the City address. This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Elise Noe. And this morning, Pittsburgh Mayor Stu Hyde gave Pittsburgh residents insights into the city's progress during the address at Memorial Auditorium. The mayor said the state of the city is strong and growing as the city continues cleaning up the community with a new trash program, among other developments. The event serves as a way for Pittsburgh residents to hear from public officials and leaders about the progress in their community.
I do think it's important not to lose sight of all the good things that are happening, and that's what this was. This is certainly not saying that we're perfect, but yeah, we want to definitely highlight the major accomplishments, the investments, the commitment by personal and corporate businesses that want to come in and invest in your city.
The city also highlighted new healthcare facilities, including recent developments with Mercy Pittsburgh. The future of Memorial Hall once again under discussion at the Joplin City Council. The City Council met last night with a number of items on the agenda, including a possible plan to revitalize the city's Memorial Hall building. Ideas for revitalization include making the building a hub for concerts, community events, and private gatherings. Now, the draw of the revitalization effort could potentially draw audiences from across our region. These efforts would also preserve Memorial Hall as a historic landmark.
Well, today I will speak about the significance of Memorial Hall, and the goal is to encourage Joplin City Council to forego any decision-making that could have a negative impact on the future of the current Memorial Hall building.
Also on the agenda, an ordinance seeking to approve a consulting firm to provide evaluation, planning, and implementation services, as well as the feasibility of a regional transportation authority for the City of Joplin transit system. Now let's check in with Chris Warner for a look at the forecast.
Now we've got ourselves some clouds starting to roll in, gradually increasing. So the MoDOT camera is looking back to the northwest. You can see a few additional clouds out there right now. Our camera in downtown Pittsburgh looking roughly south-southeast, and there's a few more clouds. Still technically mostly clear, but we're starting to get into that partly cloudy stage ahead of the mostly cloudy to cloudy skies later. Yesterday, we started 1 degree above normal. Not bad. Made it 9 degrees above normal for the high, going up to 69. We're going to be well above normal again today. 66 Joplin, 64 in Pittsburgh already. And take a look down into northeastern Oklahoma into the low 70s. We said there's a possibility, and there they are. So well above average. Others, though, low mid 60s as we head into the afternoon. We will eventually reach again upper 60s, low 70s. Clouds will increase, and that keeps our temperatures mild late through the evening as well. It kind of acts as that thermal blanket, and it'll still be breezy too as we fall back into the mid 50s by 11. We have those rain chances tomorrow and some normal temperatures, and then just a roller coaster ride in the forecast. Details on all that here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
Chris, thanks. Well, the expensive Thanksgiving shopping can be a strain on people, especially those experiencing food insecurity. Now, the Salvation Army of Jasper, Newton County is offering free Thanksgiving meals on Thanksgiving Day to anyone in the community. KOAM's Melissa Alexis has more.
Kimberly Dunning frequents the Salvation Army of Jasper and Newton County and says there are days she doesn't know where her next meal will come from.
If it wasn't for this place, there was days that I wouldn't have ate.
And she says for many people, Thanksgiving Day is no different.
The people with all the kids, how are they feeding them? You know, how are they doing anything fun with the price of food nowadays?
The Salvation Army's goal is to help those experiencing food insecurity. To help those in need, the Salvation Army of Jasper and Newton County will be providing a free Thanksgiving meal.
Have roll, have turkey, you have a pie, you gotta have the dessert for your Thanksgiving meal.
And they plan to serve the meal family style, so attendees can socialize if they don't have a family to celebrate with.
You just come in, you sit down with your neighbors and you talk.
According to the American Farm Bureau Federation, last year, the average cost of a Thanksgiving meal for a family of 10 was $61.17. a cost not everyone can afford.
You know, when you're preparing a meal for not just the people who you usually have, but you have family coming over maybe for Thanksgiving, you know, that increases the cost.
Right now, it's just with the price of food being so high, it's making it harder. Things when you would go to the food store and spend a couple years ago maybe $100, you are now spending $200, maybe $250 of what that same grocery cart used to be.
The Salvation Army will provide meals from noon to 1 p.m. on Thanksgiving Day.
It's going to keep our spirits up, you know. Think about not having a Thanksgiving meal, oh, you're just out there walking around homeless, or you got somewhere to go and people to talk to and feel like it's a real holiday.
A holiday dinner everyone is invited to. Reporting in Joplin, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
The Salvation Army of Jasper and Newton County is accepting volunteers to help prep, serve, and deliver meals on Thanksgiving Day. For a list of places to get a free Thanksgiving meal, visit the events page at KOAMnewsnow.com. Less than 1% of the 16.4 million Americans who served during World War II are still with us today to share their stories. 97-year-old Chester Hobbs of Anderson, Missouri is one of those people. A lifelong resident of McDonald County, he served in the Army for 3 years during World War II. Corporal Hobbs was stationed in Italy, where he worked as a medic, military police, and a tank driver. He says, like many during that time, he heard the call to join the fight.
They were needing tank drivers, so they selected me because I had drove a Caterpillar. So they gave me my license and away I went.
Corporal Hobbs has since received the Army of Occupation Medal, and earlier this year he was presented with a resolution from the Missouri House of Representatives in honor of his service. Well, dogs are man's best friend, and for veterans, they can be a life-saving friend. The Department of Veterans Affairs says 7% of veterans will experience PTSD, and for those who served in conflicts this century, that number is 15%. Now, Dogs for Valor is a Kansas-based organization that trains dogs to help manage their owners' symptoms like depression and anxiety. The group can also find a service dog for a veteran or first responder in need. Many vets first come to the program on edge and afraid to be in public spaces.
A lot of times the veteran with severe PTSD is, homebound. They're isolated, they're very nervous, they won't make eye contact, some won't leave the house at all. And by the end of the service dog program, they're coming out with their dogs.
The training program lasts for 6 to 9 months, but many veterans continue to attend group gatherings. And some vets say their family relationships have also improved since working with Dogs for Valor. Well, coming up, one of the last 2 remaining people who survived the Tulsa Race Massacre celebrates an incredible milestone. And later, we're making stovetop roast in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. The 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre is considered one of the worst single acts of violence against Black people in U.S. history. At least 300 Black people died when a white mob attacked a thriving district known as Black Wall Street. One of the last 2 remaining survivors of that attack turned 110 years old on Sunday. Clifton Haskin has the story.
Those cheers you heard come from friends and family for Mother Randall turning 110 on Sunday. She was born in 1914.
Steady moving, still got her wits, still playing dominoes.
I got the chance to speak with her grandson, Antonio Randall. He says there's nothing like your grandma's birthday.
Anybody doing 110, but for it to be your grandmother, man, it's like, it's a one-in-a-lifetime type of deal, you know what I'm saying?
For Mother Randall's birthday this year, she was given a check of just over $1,000 from the Justice for Greenwood Foundation, and a flag was flown over the United States Capitol in her honor. Antonio says receiving beautiful gifts is on brand for his grandmother.
If you know my grandma, gifts is something that, she always dealt with, you know what I'm saying? So this is her, you know what I'm saying? This is just her.
Joining Mother Randall at the table are plenty of flowers and family for some happy birthday pictures.
Can't express, you know what I'm saying, some of the gratification that you have, but it's just a wonderful time, man, in American history. You know what I'm saying? So it's beautiful.
Now, the fight for justice continues more than a century later. Last month, the U.S. Justice Department announced a first-ever federal probe into the massacre. It's part of a federal cold case initiative that has led to prosecutions in other civil rights era cases. Well, still to come on KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
In the mood for something warm and comforting? We're cooking up a pot roast today. That might be one of the easiest recipes ever. So join us for lots of oohs and ahs.
And we're keeping an eye on shower and thunderstorm chances as we head into our Wednesday. We'll break it down for you and some cooler weather on the way when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM News at noon. So we are starting to see a few additional clouds building into the area. Eventually, we're going to see a lot of additional clouds building into the area. Let's start though with that look outside from downtown Pittsburgh. We got sunshine, we've got clouds, and if you watch it shake a little bit, we've got winds to go along with that, gusting out of the south and east out there. So here's a look at the future track as we head into the afternoon. So again, clouds will gradually increase, and then they'll kind of really pick up on the increasing. As we head later into the afternoon and evening, we're talking mostly cloudy skies out there, still dealing with southeast winds gusting 20, maybe 25 miles an hour, and temperatures still above normal out there. Now, we've talked about this before, but the clouds act as a thermal blanket. So what they're going to do for us is the warm weather we're getting today will get trapped in and will help keep this evening warm and the overnight hours warm as well. Now, no, the way this works, it does not make it 65 degrees at 1 a.m., but it does slow down the cooling process for us. It's just like if you took a blanket and you're warm and wrapped up outside, well, if the temperature outside drops to 30, yeah, you're still going to get cold. You'll just get cold slower, okay? That's the whole process here. 3 a.m. tomorrow. Scattered showers, maybe even a couple of thunderstorms, nothing severe. That'll begin rolling into our western counties, the 8th Center, Fredonia, down to Bartlesville. Now keep in mind, these are still going to be scattered, so not everyone is going to see rain, but more of us are expecting to see rain than what we had originally seen on some of the future track data yesterday, which is some good news because we do need it. By 5 a.m., west of the 69 corridor, so now we've got Chanute, Parsons, Coffeyville, and maybe back to Fredonia, Yates Center, and Bartlesville still. By 7 a.m., kids heading to school, well, it's really going to start to move into the area now, almost right along the 69 corridor, Fort Scott, Pittsburgh, down to Miami and Veneta. And again, this will continue to track off to the east. And by 9 o'clock, the bulk of the heavier rain and thunderstorm activity should be along and to the east of the 69 corridor. Now, that's not to say it's not still going to be raining to the west, but the heavier rain, any thunderstorm activity will be off to the east. And again, the one consistency in all of this in the last couple of days is by noon, 1 o'clock, this stuff's out of here. We'll start to clear out. Now, that's an inconsistency. This morning, we were looking at clearing skies. Later in the morning, we were looking at maybe the clouds hanging around a little while. Now we're back to clearing skies by the late evening hours on our Wednesday. But one way or the other, we will clear out. Temperatures are going to get cold, but seasonably so as we head into our Thursday. Speaking of temperatures, there's some clouds from 7th and Range Line in Joplin, 66. Bear in mind, our average high is 60. Over in Pittsburgh, again, a few more clouds out there, sitting at 64 right now, and of course getting some of those gusty winds here and there and across the region. Not bad, still above normal technically, off in the north and east, low 60s, and then take a look down into northeastern Oklahoma off to the southwest here, already into the low 70s. That's where our highs are headed, upper 60s, low 70s, mostly cloudy skies, and those will eventually become just all cloudy as we go into the overnight hours, back into the upper 40s and low 50s, and southeast winds now gusting to 25. West winds gusting to 25 tomorrow, mostly cloudy skies in the afternoon, low 60s, close to where we should be with those showers and storms out there. Now over the next 10 days, I do want to point out, we'll be near normal tomorrow and Thursday, back above normal Friday and Saturday, more rain Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, but we have a little bit of an Arctic air mass coming in, and so Tuesday we go from the 60s down into the upper 20s and low 30s, low 50s, maybe upper 40s Wednesday and Thursday for highs. So it's not frigid, but it's going to be a lot colder about a week from now.
Certainly. All right. Thanks, Chris. Well, stick around. We're making stovetop roast in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. We'll be right back. Howard's making stovetop roast in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
As the weather starts to cool down, we're on the lookout for recipes that are warm and comforting. And I can't think of anything better than a slow-cooked one-pot roast that is brimming with flavor. If that sounds inviting, check this out. We start off by searing a boneless beef pot roast in a heavy soup pot. Searing it locks in the juices as it cooks, which ensures that every bite will be as moist as can be. Once it's browned, we season it with a combo of off-the-shelf spices and top it with a bunch of onions and a large can of chopped tomatoes. Now we cover it, reduce the heat to low, and let it simmer for a couple hours until it's fork tender. This is the perfect dish to make on the weekend and serve all week long. When it's done, all that's left to do is cut it across the grain and call your family to the table. You can bet they'll be running to get their share. And as you dish this up, don't forget to spoon all that flavor-packed sauce over it. Whether you serve it with traditional mashed potatoes or a low-carb mashed cauliflower, you can't miss. The recipe for our easy stovetop roast is waiting for you on our website. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a warm and inviting way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
You can find this recipe on KOAMnewsnow.com. Now here's a look at the 4-state market prices.
All right, breezy, increasing clouds for us today, upper 60s, low 70s. Morning showers and storms for our Wednesday, mostly cloudy in the second half. We warm up again Friday, Saturday, more rain into next week, and then a bit of an Arctic chill comes in by Tuesday of next week, back into the upper 20s, low 30s for lows, and upper 40s and low 50s for highs. So it's going to get cold.
I guess so.
Guess it's going to start feeling like November. It's about time.
It certainly will.
Have to get the plants in.
Certainly. What do you have for us later on, Dale?
A lot coming up at 5 for starters. If you've ever had food poisoning, and who hasn't, well, you know it's not a fun experience. About 1 in 6 Americans contract foodborne diseases each year. We're going to hear from a food safety expert about ways you can keep your family safe when preparing food in the kitchen. Plus, earlier this year, a beloved Joplin business, the Bookhouse Cinema, closed its doors. Well, now a new cinema spot is taking its place. We're going to visit the Royal Cinema Lounge and learn about its opening. And the state of Missouri is experiencing a shortage of pharmacists. How that's impacting pharmacies in the southwestern part of the state. Hope you'll join us for those stories. A lot more, of course, KOAM News at 5.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dal. That's the news for now. Thank you for joining us on KOAM News at noon. Have a great rest of your day.